roles were added to Hempfield School District this year: the curriculum supervisor of elementary and the curriculum supervisor of secondary. I had the opportunity to sit down with the two newest members of the Hempfield School District. I'm Elizabeth Williams, and I'm here with Mrs. Dicely, who is a supervisor for secondary curriculum, and Mr. Hoffman, who's a supervisor for elementary school curriculum. So what do your roles as curriculum supervisors entail?
Well, while the title is just curriculum supervisor, we're really in charge of curriculum, instruction, and assessment. So I like to say that I'm the supervisor of the CIA because it makes it sound like it's a lot cooler job than what we really have. Yeah. But I work with anything related to planning curriculum for the future, helping teachers with professional development necessary to improve instruction or change assessment. It's a new position, so it's evolving as we are working through the needs of the district. Mm-hmm.
So right now we're doing a lot of going into classrooms, seeing what's going on in classrooms so that we can improve that curriculum instruction and assessment as we go throughout the years.
And like what you said, it's a new role, so do you find that being a struggle with adjusting to it, or do you find there's no really bar set of what everyone's expecting or what I need to do, and kind of I'm just going to do what I think kind of thing?
It's exciting to have some flexibility in developing the role. I think right now we're both in a position where we're trying to learn about the district and figure out exactly what is in place right now before we can make big recommendations for where we want to go for the future. So I think that it's exciting that we can develop it into what we need and add that collaboration from the elementary to the secondary piece and help with the overall alignment.
Yeah. And I think one of our biggest goals right now is just to listen to teachers, to hear their comments, their concerns, their questions that they have with anything involving curriculum instruction and assessment, so that we can create those plans for moving forward to not only address the needs of the students in the district, but the needs of the teachers as well.
What kind of questions from teachers do you usually get that you have to you have a direct answer and here you go?
Well, right now, under the situation where last year was such a confusing end of the school year, I'm hearing a lot of, how do I prioritize what I'm teaching right now? Or how do I assess students when I have students virtually and in person? And how can I make sure that what I'm doing is equitable? So a lot of the questions right now are specific to the circumstances that we're in that are new for everybody. Quite honestly, I think every teacher feels like a first-year teacher right now, so they have questions that we've never even encountered before. So it's a lot of brainstorming together and collaborating and seeing what's working for one teacher and sharing that with others.
Mm-hmm. And in all honesty, I've been here for 9 days, so my experience here is not all that extensive at this point. But coming from a neighboring district at the elementary level, one of the big concerns of elementary teachers is we have, kindergarten students who missed almost a third of their year instructionally. And now first grade teachers are working with those students and trying to figure out, how do I deliver all of the first grade curriculum as well as catch them up on the things that we know didn't necessarily get accomplished at the end of kindergarten. So that's a really big concern at the primary levels, is how do we make sure that kids get back on track with where they need to be?
Yeah. Like what he said of how he came from only being here for 9 days, where were you before you came to this job?
Well, this is actually my 28th year in education, and I have been in a variety of different roles, most of them in another school district in Lancaster County, where I was an English teacher and then moved into staff development, federal programs, and a variety of roles there. And then I taught also in York County for a few years, and then was here last year in a position as the supervisor of secondary English, and just for 1 year before transferring into this new role that was just created by the district.
That's cool. What did you both go to college for, and where?
My undergraduate degree is from Penn State University Park campus, and that was in secondary education, specifically English. And then my master's is in teaching and curriculum, and that's from Penn State University. And then I have quite a few credits from Millersville, where I got my supervisory certification and principal certifications.
I did my undergraduate work at Messiah College. That was in elementary education. And then I have my master's degree from Millersville in elementary education and also my supervisory certificate in curriculum and instruction from Millersville.
So what type of like hard and like soft skills do you both have or have gained that will help you in this role?
It's an interesting question. I think that a lot of this role has to go back to what Mr. Hoffman was talking about listening to people, especially early in this, is really trying to gain an understanding of needs. But then there's also that need to be able to see the bigger picture, because sometimes teachers can see what's happening in their one classroom or their one subject area, but can't see how that connects to everything else. And I see our role as being able to look at the connections between departments and then also vertically looking at the connections from one grade level to the next. And so there's a piece of that, being able to see the big picture and then drilling down to really specifics, anything related to budget or how do we do those detailed alignments. So there are a lot of skills that involve that organizational thinking piece, but then also the people skills necessary to share the ideas and collaborate with others.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other piece in that vertical alignment is looking at the transition from elementary, from the K-6 buildings to the middle schools and then to the high school. And that's something that is going to be a big goal of ours also, is to make sure that's a seamless transition for students, which means we have to make sure the curriculum transitions seamlessly from those levels to the other. Definitely communication is a big piece. This is a really big district with all 6 elementary buildings, 7 if you count LIC and LPC separately, and to make sure that the teachers in all of those buildings are all doing about the same things at about the same time. That requires some coordination to make sure that that happens.
And then what are you like really looking forward to, or you expect to be your favorite part of this job?
I think that as we look forward to new classes that we're offering and providing new opportunities for students, I see the enthusiasm from the teachers as well as from everybody involved in making these changes, because teachers ultimately care about connecting with kids. And so when we are able to provide some new changes that will offer opportunities, for instance, for college credits in while still in high school, or really relevant choices that may help with decisions in career making, or just by providing more choice for students, it gets exciting, and I see that enthusiasm coming through from the teachers, and I love to see that, because that's what gets us motivated and gets us really working toward a common goal.
Mm-hmm. For me, the most exciting piece is being back at an elementary level. My previous position was a K-12 job, and while I learned a lot about secondary, that's not my background. So I'm excited to be just focusing on K-6, and also hopefully being able to bring a sense of cohesion to that K-6 world here, and just being a resource for elementary teachers and someone that they feel like they can come to as they have questions or concerns or have ideas that they'd like to see implemented.
Well, it was amazing to get to hear about this new role in Hempfield. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Elizabeth Williams.